click on the YouTube link. Let me get that here. Doing well. Gonna do a little bit of earnings and then tomorrow a little bit of crypto, right? I believe it's Apple that is reporting right now, as well as Intel and Visa, but I definitely kind of want to prioritize Apple myself. Welcome, everyone. Let's go to extended trading hours, right? They're supposed to have their earnings in a bit, as well as, I believe, Visa and Intel. So we can maybe put 3 charts on here. I can have Apple on the left, maybe Visa in the middle, right? And then Intel on the right. So quite a big earnings event, right, today with Apple. And that's huge. I have no idea what that means, TK. Does that mean that you're long, short, or both? Ooh, already kind of starting to see Intel move there, right? Big wick. Let's see what they where they head to here. So it looks like Intel is the first one to report. Are your spidey senses tingling, sir? All I need to see for Apple is a nice push and move above 239.74. And if we're going to close a daily candle above that, I think we're set for higher levels. So Apple is personally my priority, but it looks like Intel is also moving significantly. Let's go back to the 5-minute here. Intel will remain highly focused on execution to build on progress. All right, whatever that may mean. Looks like a lot of volatility here off the get-go. Intel forecasts first quarter revenue below estimates. All right, that doesn't sound too positive, right? We will do some things, and then hopefully things will get better in the future, is what it seems that Visa is saying right now. I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm personally not all too interested in Intel until it would basically be able to clear resistance at 20.75 with a daily candlestick closure above that. So basically anything below 20.75, I personally think that Intel is basically in a bear market of its own. That is my best guess basically for Intel. So I basically think that low there at 18.51, that's kind of a support, but if you come there, it's probably not going to hold, and then you probably are going to visit levels from like literally a decade ago. And that's my main case on Intel. Let's go back to the 5 minutes here. Kind of those are the two main levels to watch: resistance at 20.75 and support at 18.51 here. But in a bear market, I wouldn't trust that support to really hold and provide too much. So a daily candle closure above 20.75, and I might get interested, but we'll see if we get that or not. Yeah, $20 to $60 for the past 20 years. It's definitely not a growth investment in my opinion. It's kind of like literally, it's like the stock is in a bear market of its own. It's not looking good at all, right? We had a little bit of a shallow rally here into a big bearish gap, and then we got smashed right back down. So if they're not gonna provide some excellent earnings and whatever, doesn't look too healthy. Also seems to me like both Apple and Visa still need to take some time probably to report. Let's see, my earnings button is a little bit more in the future, in like half an hour, while Intel is basically right now. So I guess these ones are still to come, but just the levels which I would focus on for Apple, very simple, is basically 239 and 229. So 229.56, that is maybe a level where if we get some volatility, the price might want to get attracted to that again. And if we can hold it there, I'll be very interested to basically long this all the way right back up to the all-time high. Because, and I can be wrong, but I think we were right on top here, basically around the bottom with the buying opportunity. a couple, like 9 days ago or so. Let's see. It's like a big candlestick with wicks to both sides and currently turning green. All right. We'll see if they can get something moving. But I would not trust this, to be honest with you guys. Even if this bounces, I think it might become a very good short opportunity, basically, once you are going to start rolling over again. I did not see that, Sir Latvian. I was not paying attention to meta earnings, to be honest, but I did see price above and then back below 700. That's interesting, right? That things are just like going to where we were looking. That happens all the time. Anyways, let's see. I had my earnings calendar here as well. I had Apple, Visa, but there was more, right? Guess we can stick with Intel for a bit here. Also, actually, I haven't really taken a look at Visa for a very long time until, well, I started focusing on other things more, but what a move. What a move as well on Visa. I mean, interesting levels to kind of retest are going to be just the obvious double top swing high there at 321. That would be an excellent level to basically come back down to and try and flip into a support. And if that is not going to hold, then I think you're looking below 300 again. So 321, 295, and if you get below that 261, those are excellent levels to kind of position yourself in this stock if this gives a retracement. If this gives a retracement, I wouldn't call it a bear market. I think it's going to be a very good opportunity. But buying the top here of a green candlestick, like you've already, like if this is the first time ever you're going to buy this, maybe I'd wait for a good retracement. But those are definitely levels which you could just copy on your chart for Visa, and at some point in the future, you probably come there. So maybe one thing to add for Apple, what I would not want to see, right, is at this point that we get back below 219. That would be at least short-term bearish, right? But I don't suspect we will, to be honest. I would actually like to see that this earnings move can get this above 240. Also looks like there's some numbers coming in here for Visa. Let's see if we can maybe get some big blip here. All right. Let's go to the 5-minute here on Intel for a second. Maybe we literally just tap this level and then kind of roll over. Very possible, right? I was seeing some news here for Visa, but doesn't seem like we get that much volatility so far. It was like to the penny. That's beautiful to see. Let me actually take a look at Meta for a moment. How far did we come so far? Let's see. They had their yeah, right there. That is funny, brother. Right? That's what you're mentioning, right? Latvian, that 637.89 level for Meta. That is wild, bro. That is literally nuts, right? Isn't that crazy, bro? With one wick on 1 minute, it could go to the 30-second time frame, and it probably touched that for literally a split second. So it's kind of nuts that we had the level on there where exactly they came to with their earnings, right? So the traditional idea would be that, buyer stepped in here at exactly this level. But if that is what you believe, then you're basically telling me that, like, I could foresee that when people are gonna come to their charts, but that's not at all how this works. I really want to emphasize that. I personally think that as long as you really believe that things are moving because of buyers and sellers and investors making decisions, you're going to be in an infinity trap, because that's not how it works. I could not foresee where buyers would step in, right? Just that was a level that was interesting and where the price would want to come back to and probably do something at. Anyways, end rant. Everybody, of course, you believe what you want to believe, right? And what you believe basically shapes your reality. So, anyways, I've created for myself a really, really, really good trading reality while I where I do not take like the traditional sense of the investors buy support and they sell resistance. No, 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 no. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be that precise literally all the time every week, right? Yes, sir. That's a very good remark. Visa reports Q1 EPS of 2.75. Let's see. On revenue of 9.5 billion. That is so much money, you guys. Versus consensus of 2.66 for the EPS. So I guess they beat their EPS and also revenue. So that is double beat as far as I would see here, right? On the first eye. But once again, I like what I really like is just earnings moves that give you a decent, solid, good retest. And giving you positive earnings is a very nice narrative to make people want to buy exactly at the top. That's what you want to be playing, something like this from either of these levels. So that level on Meta, right? I'm quite confident that these same buyers will be stepping in at one of these three levels, right? That the same exact thing is going to happen at one of these three levels, and it's just basically up to you to be quickly on the ball. If you know your confirmations, you could, for example, just simply wait for a move below this level, and then a market structure shift, a higher low, and go. If you can drill in this entry pattern, which seems like super simple, that's all you will ever need, right? Intel's Q1 outlook hurt by challenging macro market talk. All right. Looks like we're going up so far, but that is maybe also just a move to sucker in some people buying some Intel. Like I said, this is literally something that I believe is in a bear market of its own, and I think money is way, way, way better off spent and working with actual fast horses, right? It's like you've got all these horses, and like some of these horses are literally ill and sick, and some of these horses are literally super fast and beautiful, and then you're like, let me bet on the super ill horse because maybe it's going to get better at some point. That is not my idea. So yeah, Apple, Meta at all-time highs, Visa as well, but they are way more playable long than something like Intel here. Seems like such a even kind of waste of portfolio space is what I would call Intel personally, right? Until and that would not have a place in my in mine. All right. So for Visa, everything seems to be very positive, right? Both the EPS and the revenue seems to be above what was the consensus there. Let's actually see for Visa, how far could this be running at the moment? It's kind of going parabolic as well, right? Let's go all the way back to this here. So that would mean that we're now running for 353.21, right? So I'll put myself a line there at 353.21, guys. That is where the sellers are going to take over, right? Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Guess this is going to be the next level of resistance. And if you're going to clear that, I mean, there's so much upside. So much upside. So that looks beautiful. Maybe I'll have to look at this one of the coming days and see if they even can just like that 353.21 level. That's a level where if they are going to break above it and then hold it and then go again, I mean, I'm not going to then marry the fact that we need to retest these levels. No, I'll play from higher if needed. Let's see. Intel shows signs of progress in the face of another revenue decline. I mean, that's kind of contradictory to me, right? There's progress, but there's a revenue decline. Like, have revenue increases, and then you can start talking about good news, right? Let's see. I personally was like, I didn't know that Apple would take a while to start reporting, because this is currently what I'm mostly interested in. I am very willing to be very, very bullish on Apple. And so everyone who's kind of just focused on price and, oh, we need to go back below 200, maybe we just don't, right? Maybe we're just going to rip it right back up to 260. And if you're not involved in Apple, I would consider, like, you can have that 229.56 level on there. That's going to be a level where if they come back to it, I wouldn't panic. I would also just look for maybe a nice little reversal pattern. What time is Apple earning? Let's see. Actually, on my trading view here, it is my earnings button is hovering over like 4:30. So I guess that might still be 15 minutes, champion Kiwi. And Visa was hovering over 4:05, and then Intel was first at 4. So I think Intel was first, Visa was second, and Apple, we don't know anything yet. But I'll probably won't be around for all like hour or so. Just kind of will then focus on these two. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see, what is the list here again? So we had MasterCard this morning. I actually have not checked this out at all. So it looks like there, and this is a really neat kind of tab. I can even put this in the chat for you guys, right? If you have a TradingView subscription, you can basically just copy paste this in your URL. And this is going to be nice for the people who like to look at their numbers. I like to kind of just use this to see, okay, what is having earnings today, tomorrow, this week, next week, etc. Right? So it's kind of funny to me also how Apple kind of stands out still so much massively above something like Visa and MasterCard. I mean, you could literally add MasterCard to Visa to like the next 5 or 10 or however, like there's this whole list, and there is more money in Apple. And here you basically get, again, for the people who like to look at their numbers, I'll try to make it a bit bigger here. The estimate, at least, for that EPS. So it looks like MasterCard did very well, right? Looks like this Blackstone thing also did very well. Basically everything, like green, 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 nice green earnings on almost everything. Looks like we're in a bull market. This one though, that's I'm not sure what I'm even looking at here with this Dow stuff. Market cap 27 billion, EPS estimate 24 cents, and the reported is 0. I just want to quickly check that out. What is that even? Doesn't even seem too shaken then. All right. So no earnings, just we earned nothing. All right. Wall Street increasingly bearish on Apple ahead of earnings. I mean, they can basically get blown out as far as I'm concerned, to be honest with you. We get above 240, we flip that level, you're looking at, and they're really super clean, the levels. It's literally 219, 229, 239, 249, and then you're at 260. That is basically your ladder. So easy to remember as well. I would not look to touch any shorts on Apple if I could give you any good advice, which it is not advice, right? It's just an opinion. I would definitely not be wasting my time with Apple shorts. Maybe consider that they're putting out the articles to incentivize people to actually load up some puts just for them to get blown out. All right. So weird. Intel up after beating Q4 revenue estimates. Weren't we told that they didn't beat it? Let's see. Let's keep reading. Rise 2%. All right. So their revenue, they actually beat for Intel. Reported was 14.26 billion and the estimates were 13.8. All right. Expects Q1 revenue of 11.7 billion to 12.7 billion. which is below the estimates. Seasonal weakness, blah, blah, blah. All right. Intel fell 60% in 2024. That's really all you need to know, right? It's not a good investment. And it doesn't seem to be moving that far, to be honest. It's not really looking that convincingly. I mean, Apple's going to be the big one, right? That is going to have the biggest influence over where SPY is going to open up tomorrow and how we're going to progress on that as well. These others, they don't have nearly as much influence. So if Apple can really pull off a move, I mean, it's just going to be a matter of a few days probably before this thing rips to new all-time highs on the SPY as well. Regardless if Nvidia is a bit weak. Let's go back to Visa here. So I'll repeat the levels also for Visa so you all can remember them. Levels to retest are 321.62, 295.78, and 261.9. And the main level of resistance is 353.21. If we get above that and we cleanly flip that level, that then becomes a support to play from. So it's pretty simple as long as you've basically got your plan and your levels. Literally one of the biggest aha moments for me was just the fact that, yeah, you're actually not, you can't, like, you don't need to be forced to trade anything if it's not around your levels and if it's not doing exactly what you want to see. Just ignoring everything that happens between the levels and just positioning yourself at these levels. Anyways, I think we can maybe look at another 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes. I do want to see what Apple has to say. I was honestly hoping for a bit more action here on Visa and Intel, but it's not that impressive. Anyways, let's go back to what was reporting today. Wanted to maybe have a quick look at the MasterCard chart as well, while we wait for Apple. Let's see. Oof. Looks like a big wick today and a new all-time high there, right, for MasterCard? Let's see, 576.94. All right. All right. I'm gonna have a very good look at this tomorrow on MasterCard, but this is also like if you want some obvious levels to look for retests, like literally just the previous high there at 536.91. This is honestly not where I'd be buying my first clip of MasterCard shares. Like, oh, okay, come to the market now. No, this looks like a clean level actually at 536.91 to kind of look for a bounce from there, where this becomes a big earnings kind of trap, leaving behind a big gap. And then the moment you get back there, everybody who basically bought the top is stopping out, and then you get the cascade down to that level. I mean, I'm even going to place myself on alert there if it wants to come down there again. All right. Also placing myself on alert at that first level below me here for Visa 321.62. Wouldn't be the first time, right? When you get an earnings move up and then shortly thereafter you get the move the opposite direction. I mean, if Apple is going to go down, then likely some others are going to follow as well. And if Apple just keeps going, that is probably going to spell a bit of relief on the market in general, right? Where things are probably going to go with it. I'm, to be honest, also massively looking at the earnings reaction on Apple to kind of give me some guidance in crypto, because it's very simple. If Apple is going to blast, the S&P is going to blast. and people are going to want to be more inclined for more risk on, and it's going to be more bull market vibes. So Apple is actually quite important for the whole, for everything, just because of the amount of money that is in it. And if Apple nukes here 10% on earnings, and if 10% of the market cap gets shed, that is likely not where people are going to say, "Oh, let's bid some altcoins." Or now everything can happen, right? But it's going to be an important one. Mm-hmm. Exactly, Porterhouse. You got to protect the vibes. Right. I mean, I'll give them 5 more minutes to come up with something, but will not be here all night. Let's see. Intel's already starting kind of slowly lose momentum here. It's kind of getting faded already, right? Big pump just for the bigger fish to fill some nice limit short orders somewhere here. And actually, one thing I also like to do is kind of take my time and look within the candlesticks to kind of see, all right, how much did they end up buying there in the top? For example, there's this nice volume footprint on TradingView, can kind of just boom, boom, boom. It's kind of looks a little bit intimidating at first, but then you can kind of just zoom into this candlestick and see where is the most amount of volume and where is basically the most important level. So in this candlestick here, right, that made the top on Visa, I could immediately see that the most amount of volume is basically right here at where that candlestick closed. So this would become the most important resistance to get above. You could even take that out. As long as you're below this, you're basically running against something that is way bigger than you. Just kind of just fading here. Looks like Intel and Visa are kind of producing a little bit of the same bump and fade pattern here. Give me after hours doji, John. Can you not see the screen on Intel? That's weird, sir. It's just on the right here. 20.13. Hope that's still visible. Let's see. Spare change on YouTube, you said, can you look at UPS? Any levels of interest? We'll do that, sir. So UPS. All right. Let's take a look at that for a moment for spare change on YouTube. UPS. And you say ahead of earnings. Looks like they had their earnings this morning. Or not? Or did you say after earnings? Ah, no, you didn't even say anything about earnings. My bad. You just said any levels of interest for UPS. All right, let's look at this for a moment. Let's make this UPS bigger. I mean, straight off the bat, I can tell you that's not looking amazing. Any levels of interest? Most certainly, sir. If you want some J levels of interest, I'm going to give them to you. It's going to be 96.13, right? And below that, you're already looking at the, man, this is a monstrosity in the making, this chart. This is not good at all. This is not good at all. If you're thinking about dip buying UPS, I'm not interested because this looks to me like you're basically about to accelerate to the downside. Ooh. Yeah, I'd maybe be interested for a move from 96 to 122. And a lot of stars would need to align for that level to hold, but there's a good chance that it will. But I would honestly not be looking to touch this above the 100 level. it's very simple. That 100 level, like that, just that psychological round bankers number at 100, there's going to be a lot of liquidity for UPS right there. So I wouldn't touch that long until it gets below 100. You do not want to be the guy who buys the dip early and then ends up just DCAing and calling it a long-term investment. That's my take on UPS. So let's see, 96.13, and there we go. We're going to get some Apple stuff here. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's. Can we send this in one straight line to 260 is my only question. That would be excellent. All right, there's coming in so much here for Apple, like 12 things. What the? All right. Apple Japan, Apple sales, Greater China. My God, there's a lot going on here. I'll just kind of wait, kind of just focus on the price action here. Always got to be super, super, super careful with that initial move on like an FOMC or an earnings. I'm going to want to see them basically get above that 239.74 level here and close there, right? It's going to be important. And if to take it a bit safer, you're going to want to basically wait for a 15-minute closure, not just a 5 or a 1-minute candle closure. I also didn't want to cut it short on UPS, but we don't really have too much else to say about that. It's not an interesting dip buy, in my opinion. This is not where, oh, let's look for a swing trade. Not at all. I think you're on the move below 100 for that. Let's see Apple, right? Apple reports Q1 EPS of 240 versus consensus 235. 96.13. Did you get that level, Sir Porter, without looking at mine? That's funny, because that is in fact an important level. All right, Apple. Let's take a look inside the candlestick here. Where is going to be the most amount of volume in here? So it's a whole lot of nothingness until the top and the bottom. So basically people getting stopped out long at the bottom and then stopped out short at the top. Lots of volume coming in here. Apple's Q1 iPad sales 8.09 billion versus 7.37%. I mean, what I'm seeing is I'm just gonna bull post my equity here, but looks great, right? Amazing. Apple did a great job. Awesome. Perfect. That's all we need to know. And you want to tag spare change, I think, Porter. He's not here in the Discord, but he was asking about UPS in on YouTube. Make sure the man has eyes on your charts. All right. I want to see at least one more 5-minute candlestick on Apple, and then we'll slowly start thinking about calling it. But right, it was like half an hour before they even said anything. I mean, a little bit of dart mole candles, but not really going anywhere so far. That's also fine. I mean, they're talking about their iPhone, iPad, Mac sales. Most of it seems to be better than expected. It would be excellent if tomorrow we could open up above 239.74, but it's not even required. The only thing that is really required is that we're not going to basically nuke back below 219, because then we might look below 200. But this is all more than fine. Mm, mm, mm. You got it in the YouTube chat, spare change. I hope that helps you for UPS. Looks like Visa is getting faded right back off. Looks to me like they're gonna need the funds to bid Apple up. Apple stock reacts to earnings. All right, let's read this. Mm-mm-mm. Apple reported that iPhone sales for the quarter were down nearly 1% from the prior year to 69.1 billion. Nice. A miss from the 70.7 billion analysts were projecting. Total revenue was 124.3 billion, growing almost 4% from the same quarter last year. I mean, that's it's not bad, right? Net income was 36.3 billion, also up more than 7% from the prior year. So everybody who's basically saying that, yeah, every year is just the same iPhone. I mean, that might be the case, but they're making money off of it, right? All right. Earnings per share, like we said, came in at 2.4, beating that 2.35. I mean, looks excellent for Apple. And if we're not going to see too much volatility, that is also more than fine. Just kind of a little bit of stopping longs and shorts out here, a little bit of overexposed calls and puts. That's good. I may just imagine how many people were kind of just sitting there hoping for Apple to do badly, just to then realize that, yeah, indeed, they indeed do resell the same phone every year and they make an enormous amount of money doing it. So you got to respect it, right? Um, well, let's see. Wait for this 5 minute candlestick to close and then we'll call it here, guys. Um, Not here to just look at all these 5 minute candlesticks paid. We'll look at it again tomorrow. And when Apple is going to make a move that I'm saying, like, this is where I'm going to add a bit to my position size, let me just put in the link again. This is where I'll be able to tell you guys when I'll be bidding more, as I have been doing, right? I can just kind of remind you guys that we basically, right, last thing we did in the coaching was basically bid Apple on this exact candle here. So that's I did the math. We're 9 days later and we're 9% higher. Boom, 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 boom. That's it's a good move, right? And from here, I'm most certainly not looking to sell anything until we get to new all-time highs. Just looking for some good reasons to, like I said, bid more on Apple, but I'm only going to get these reasons during regular hours anyway. So I guess we can kind of slowly round up here. And like I said, you guys, please go follow me on Twitter. I'll make sure to tell you guys when I'll be bidding more and betting more. But looks very good for Apple, to be honest. All right. Let me end the StreamYard. Did Intel earnings came out? Yes, sir. They did come out and we're bouncing a bit to the upside. They beat their EPS and their revenue. They missed, but kind of covered that Intel is in a bear market of its own and that there's other better stocks here. Anyways, hope you all have a nice evening.